Today we're setting up the 36-inch Blackstone Griddle with air fryer. So if you've been watching our channel for a little while, you know we do grilling videos both on a Pit Boss smoker and on a Blackstone flat top. That's kind of what we've historically done. But at our last house after the hurricane, my Blackstone was in pretty rough shape. The wheels were seized up from the flooding that happened. There was a lot of things sort of wrong with it. It still worked, the flat top part worked just fine, but I knew when we moved to this house I was going to go ahead and pick up a new one. I was kind of eyeballing a couple different ones, the Pro Series one that looks a little nicer with a cabinet, but I really like this one with the air fryer on it. As silly as it sounds, the ability to make French fries when you're doing burgers or heat up buns or the warming tray, that just sounded kind of neat. And I put it off for a while. We've been in this house for a few months and, you know, I haven't went and picked one up yet. So the other day I walked into Walmart and they had this particular one, which is normally $597. They had it down at $309, so darn near 50% off. And it's just because they were starting to put Christmas decorations already in the garden center. It is September 14th. They were already putting stuff in the garden center for Christmas. They put all of these out and they marked them all down. So I came home real quick, picked up the truck and grabbed this thing. I will say this thing has some weight to it with that giant cast iron top. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. I think this is gonna be one of these lift off the top. Let's see what it looks like here. All right. All right. I'm gonna start getting the pieces out and putting them on my table over here. There we go. Got instructions and it looks like the very flimsy, cheap, well, this is probably the shelf, not the lid. Got some of our corner supports here. Kind of wild how they make these things almost like a little crate. I'm going to take these pieces of cardboard and set them on the table just so nothing gets scratched when I bring it over there. Turning this guy around. What's interesting here is I only see one of the legs. I've pulled one leg out, but I haven't seen the other one yet. Maybe the other leg is underneath the lid, not sure. All right, looks like we can carry this whole unit without the griddle part and put it over on the table. I think that's what we're going to do. I just have my lovely daughter help me carry this over to here, cut off a couple more of these straps, and then you can just take all of these parts and just get rid of them. All right. Looks like we've got our other leg right here. This and this and another mold and mildew pack. You can kind of see each of the drawers are here. They got all plastic around them, so I'm going to take all the plastic off. And this will be all the accessories and everything to assemble it. Looks like I got my side shelves here. I'm going to set the side shelves on the floor because I'm sure that's going to be one of the last things that get assembled here. Our handle for the lid, and then a couple more boxes. The grease catch pan, and it looks like all of the knobs. So I'm just going to pop all of these out. Just get rid of all this trash. I can move it. The casters. So here's all the wheels. Looks like they roll in 4 different directions, not just 2 like my old one. And we've got something else here too. My guess is this is going to be the rack that holds the propane tank in place. With that, I'm going to take this whole box of all these parts, scoot it out of the way, and we will start assembly. All right, so the first thing is we're going to start putting this guy together. Now we're just going to take 2 of our screws. Now, anytime I'm assembling something like this, from a company, I always thread things in by hand to start, and I don't tighten anything up until everything's sort of put together. You just never know how well things are going to assemble, and you don't want to go ahead and cross thread something or strip it. Now we'll do the same over here. Now, once they're all snug, I go around one more time and I just make sure that they're all good and tight. I will also, after using this for about a week, rolling it around on the back patio, I will lay underneath it and tighten everything up one more time. We're now going to flip this over and we're going to put our casters right up here. I'll lock the wheel, and then to get it started, and we can just rotate it right on there. The nice thing is you can turn that pretty hard. Lock the wheel. All right, so the next part was turning this whole thing upside down on a table. Not sure what keeps dropping. There's 2 things have dropped in there now. And it does say to loosen the 8 screws that hold these legs in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. With those loose, I'm now going to turn the legs that we just assembled upside down and slide them right in there. Those started. Line this one up. There we go. All right. Now, we're going to put 2 screws in each leg here, and then we're going to tighten the ones up on the side that we just loosened. And we want to make sure these are going in real nice. Remember, just like before, we do them where we're not possibly cross-threading them. Last one of those. And the next step here is to take some of these long thumb screws and run them all the way through the legs into the body of the air fryer. Again, we want to make sure these go in nice and easy. The good news for me is they're lining up just fine. I'm not having to wiggle the legs in any way. All right, so now it's just a matter of putting on these little brackets that are going to hold the shelves. So what we'll do here is, it shows you exactly which ones go in which place. I laid them out on here. And you use these countersink screws, and we just pop it right in here. So you want to snug both of them up before you tighten them, because these are countersunk holes. So it's definitely going to use the countersinking to center this shelf exactly where it needs to go. Snug them both up first, then we tighten them. Yep. Hold on, we might have to... Here, lift up the back one. I think we go in with the front one, and then now slide backwards until it goes in. They both in? All right, the next thing we do is put this handle on. I'm just taking the screws out of it the way it should. And these fit on here this way. Keep that nice and loose. We'll do the same over here. Put the little decorative ring on it. Will say one thing about Blackstones is their lids always feel so cheesy to me. It's what made me almost buy the Pro Series one, because it has 2 brackets on the lid. Our old one did too. This one does not. Walmart sometimes has a floor model, and they have one out there, and even the Pro Series one with all those extra supports still felt cheesy. Now, maybe it was assembled crappily, I don't know, but it made me worry about it a little bit. All right, got the handle on. Next thing we can do is mount this to the top of our griddle. I don't know how well this is going to show up, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to zoom in and we'll see how well it shows up. But what happens is there's a little spacer here. That spacer is going to go right into this piece of the side of the griddle, and the hood is going to snap onto that, and then this screw is going to go through there, and then we will bolt it from the inside. So I think it's going to be a little bit hard to show all that. I'm going to try and zoom in on this side right here while I start to assemble it. So we're just going to go ahead and get these tightened up all the way now. Just have to lean the hood on my arm to get the pressure off of it to tighten these. Sorry, I'm gonna have to block the view of the camera, but I need to do this to get this one tight. That screw almost stripped out. I'm gonna get a flat blade and just tighten it a little bit more. All right, got those tightened up. All right, so now we're gonna attach all of these propane pieces for holding the tank. So the first one goes right here, right here. Retainer clip here. And this connects right in here, and it kind of acts like a bit of a spring to hold it in place. And I'm only going to snug this up, not go too tight with it. That way, that little thing kind of retains and springs the propane tank there. All right, we spin this guy around. All right, now we're going to put on our power cord holder. Now on our shelves, we get these guys ready for the sides. All we're going to do is grab 4 of our screws, put our stainless steel washers on them, and then these go on the side, and this is just sort of our hooks for our utensils. I will say, these are really handy. I used them a lot with our old Blackstone. I was surprised how much I used them. Now, just like before, we will put these guys right in here. Put these guys right in here. On this next part, we're going to put these little step screws. They're on this particular one. They are listed as part D. But we're going to screw those into the top holes here on both of the shelves. And this is what's going to allow these things to hinge on there, slide down into the latching mechanism, and then ultimately fold down when we're not using them. I'll kind of zoom in and show you what this looks like. So now it's a matter of putting these on. Now the nice thing is these are fold down shelves, but to put them on, you basically just slide them into this groove. That's where we start, and now we use the screws on the bottom to actually attach this. All right, got that one tightened. Now the nice thing is you can just lift these up and they fold right down, lift them back up, slide them in. That guy tightened up. All right, short of handles and knobs, we're definitely close. Let's spin this guy around. On the back, it's as simple as hanging our grease bin right there. And now we have handles. Handles out the wazoo, as they say. Take each of these little air fryer drawers out. On the inside of these, I'm just going to pull this out. On the inside of these, there's a couple of little thumb screws here. We're going to loosen these up. And we're going to slide this up. Basically, you lift that up or slide the front panel down. It pops off. And then we actually attach our handles to the screws in the back, and then we'll reassemble this whole thing. And these screws in the back here, we screw them right into the handle. And then once all of these guys are screwed in tight, I'll show you what we do, and then I won't bother showing you on the other 3 because they're all identical. Basket. I think we're on to knobs. It's about the last thing in the box. All right, all these knobs look the same, so nothing to worry about where it goes here. We'll just pop these guys on. And short of popping the propane tank on the side, which I'll do after I pull it into the backyard, we are ready to go. Well, I hope you found this useful. We will do a burn-in video and a first cook, and we'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Bye, y'all. Safe and happy griddling.